To the unattached YouTube channel. Today I wanted to discuss a big upcoming. Well, I ain't gonna say necessarily say upcoming super fight, but a potential super fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. And I wanted to give my take on this potential super fight. When when I first looked at David Benavidez, versus Caleb Plant, and I saw David Benavidez defeat Caleb Plant by a unanimous decision. And when somebody asked me who I think would win out of Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, initially I said I think one of them, I don't know which one of them, but I think one of them would win by a unanimous decision because Benavidez is the busier fighter. He's a volume puncher. Canelo is the more experienced fighter and the more skilled fighter. So I said it would be Benavidez's pressure and volume punching versus Canelo's defensive counter punching, experience, and technicality. But after looking at Caleb Plant, not Caleb Plant, but after looking at David Benavidez's fights and Canelo Alvarez's fights, I came to the conclusion that I believe after looking at a plethora of David Benavidez's fights and a plethora of Canelo Alvarez's fights, I believe Canelo would most likely beat David Benavidez by an 11th or 12th round stoppage, TKO. I believe Canelo Alvarez would TKO David Benavidez in the 11th or 12th round. I believe Canelo would go to the body. He would punish Benavidez's body, and I believe Canelo would capitalize off a lot of David Benavidez's mistakes. Number one, he would punish his body. Number two, he would capitalize off of a lot of Benavidez's missed punches. Although Benavidez is very accurate, Canelo Alvarez has the experience and a defensive counterpunching ability to capitalize off of David Benavidez's mistakes. And Canelo Alvarez is a master. Canelo Alvarez is an expert when it comes to picking his shots. And I feel like Canelo Alvarez has more one-punch power than David Benavidez. Benavidez overwhelms his opponents with pressure and volume punching, whereas Canelo Alvarez destroys the body and then goes for the head. And I feel like Canelo Alvarez has the ability to do more damage with one punch. So I pick, and also Canelo Alvarez is the better defensive fighter. Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, is an elite defensive fighter. He's an elite defensive fighter. He's very experienced. Canelo is 32 or going on 33, and Canelo has 60 fights. He has about 60 fights. So he has a ton of experience. He's been a professional boxer since the age of 15. I feel like Canelo's experience and technicality would be especially at 168, he's still a monster at 168. I feel like Canelo at 168 would beat Benavidez because he's the more technical fighter, and he would capitalize off of David Benavidez's mistakes. And as far as size, Canelo has fought taller fighters than David Benavidez. He's fought harder punches than David Benavidez. I feel like David Benavidez's power is not that much. He doesn't have that much more power. His power, I feel like Dimitri Bivol and David Benavidez's power is on par with one another. I just feel like if you were to move David Benavidez up to 175, his power would probably be about the same as Dimitri Bivol's. And Canelo was able to take Dimitri Bivol power. And I don't think David Benavidez punches, even though he might punch slightly harder than Dimitri Bivol. I don't think he punches that much harder. I think their power is on par with one another's. It's just that Dimitri Bivol fights in a higher weight class. But David Benavidez is not the highly technical boxer that Dimitri Bivol is. And David Benavidez is not the defensive counterpunching wizard that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is. And even those two fighters had to, Dimitri Bivol and Floyd Mayweather Jr. had to come with they had a great game plan. They executed their game plan to perfection in order to beat Canelo Alvarez by a decision. So in no way do I think David Benavidez stops Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez has a great chin. He has a great chin. He has a little thick neck. He has a short, thick neck, and it's kind of hard to sometimes, especially with his defense, it's hard to hit Canelo clean. It's hard to hit him clean, and even if you hit him clean, he has a granite chin. Canelo has a granite chin, so I don't see David Benavidez. I don't see the Mexican monster stopping Canelo Alvarez, and he's not more technical than Canelo Alvarez, and he would leave himself open a lot, and Canelo would capitalize off of David Benavidez's mistakes. So in this potential super fight, I got Canelo Alvarez beating David Benavidez by a late round stoppage. I got him beating David Benavidez by an 11th or 12th round stoppage. So that's how I feel like the fight will go. And I feel like Canelo. And sometimes I think of Canelo. I'm like, he's a natural 154 pounder, but over the years he has grown into his as he's gotten older, his body has matured. He's developed more muscle mass. He's become naturally bigger. And I feel like he's a beast at 168. And I feel like people, because of his height, he's 5'7", but I feel like Canelo is more like 5'6". And I think because of his height and the fact that he came up from 154, I think people sometimes they tend to underestimate Canelo Alvarez. Despite all of his accomplishments, they tend to underestimate him. So Canelo is still a beast at 168. And I got Canelo Alvarez stopping David Benavidez in the 11th or 12th round.